to the big one. And to make the presentations, a warm welcome, please, for the Chairman and Managing Director of Mecca Leisure, Michael Guthrie. So here are the results of the World Professional Latin American Championships. In third place, from Norway, number 20, Raymond and Gunn Meyer-Engen. The runners-up are couple number 11 from Great Britain, David Sycamore and Denise Weavers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the World Professional Latin American Champions of 1984 are from Scotland, number 22, Donny Burns and Gaynor Fairweather. Well, warmest congratulations to Donny Burns and Gaynor Fairweather. There's one last duty for you to perform, though. Join us in congratulating the 1984 World Professional Latin American Champions, Donny Burns and Gaynor Fairweather. Well, Alan, a good result?
Yes, a very good result. It's their first title, and what a title to win. They have worked really hard and dedicated themselves to perfection, and that time spent has really paid off this evening. Many congratulations to you both.
So as the new champions round off our evening, from Alan Fletcher and me, good night.
Come Dancing continues in 2 weeks' time, that's June the 12th, with the first semi-final between home counties South and Wales. And now on BBC1, the news headlines from John Humphreys.
The police have been using riot gear against pickets for the first time since the start of the miners' strike. At least 5,000 miners tried to stop lorries leaving the Orgreave coking plant near Sheffield today. There were some of the most violent clashes of the dispute so far, but the lorries got through. More than 60 people were injured and there were 80 arrests. Tonight, the NUM General Secretary Peter Heathfield called for discipline and said there was provocation on both sides. America has confirmed it sent 400 Stinger anti-aircraft missiles to Saudi Arabia to help protect it from Iranian attack. President Reagan personally ordered the sale. He said the Gulf states believe they can handle the threat without outside involvement. Other pro-Western states in the Gulf are planning their own defense against the Iranians. They're considering establishing a safety corridor through the southern Gulf to protect tankers. Last month was the worst on record for British trade. Our balance of payments was £600 million in the red. The Gulf War and the miners' strike have meant we've been buying more oil from abroad and selling less of our own. Imports reached a new record high and exports fell. The IRA say they were responsible for the landmine explosion in South Armagh, which killed a 23-year-old soldier and seriously wounded another. The dead man has been named as Lance Corporal Stephen Anderson of the Staffordshire Regiment. The soldiers were part of a joint Army and RUC border patrol on duty near Crossmaglen. President Reagan, who will be in London next week, said tonight he will talk about Northern Ireland with Mrs. Thatcher. He said he'd find it hard not to ask her about the findings of the new Ireland Forum. The forum said the best hope for peace was a united Ireland, but the President said it was not the place of the United States to intervene. And finally, Eric Morecambe is to be buried next Monday in Harpenden, a mile from his Hertfordshire home. Ernie Wise is expected to deliver the eulogy. And that's it from us for now. Good night.
Before the weather forecast, a quick look at tomorrow evening, beginning with the Wednesday film. Omar Sharif and Catherine Deneuve are the stars in the tragic love story Mireling at 6:45. After the 9 o'clock news at 9:25, there's another chance to see the Paul Daniels Magic Christmas Show. And that's followed at 10:15 by Sports Night, with Liverpool's attempt to win the European Cup for the 4th time, a close look at the task facing Martina Navratilova this week in France, and at the progress of Barry McGuigan, who defends his European featherweight title next week, plus the latest news on the Olympics. With the second part of the Gear Jammers from the Rockford Files at 11:05, that's tomorrow night on BBC1. And now the weather from Bill Giles.
Good evening to you. Well, the fine weather that they had up in Scotland over the bank holiday has worked its way down across most parts of England and Wales today. Not quite got into the southeast and East Anglia, but I think you'll get it there tomorrow. You'll get some sunshine as the winds turn more towards the northwest. But the fine weather is not going to last very long. I think probably a couple of days of fine weather over central and eastern parts. Only one day left on the western side, and not even that in the far northwest, where you've got these fronts and they're beginning to edge their way in. In fact, if we look at the chart for midday tomorrow, you can see that front just coming into northwestern parts of Scotland, trailing back into the Atlantic and just hinting at a low pressure out there, but I'll be talking about that a little bit later on. As far as tonight's concerned, I think still a little bit of drizzly stuff near that eastern coast, and perhaps a spot or two of rain in the far northwest, but most places a dry night, a pretty cold night too, temperatures down to 4 centigrade and a few mist and fog patches later on. And then tomorrow, well, I think over on the eastern side there might be a bit of cloud to start with, but you stand a much better chance of the cloud breaking and seeing some sunshine there. And then I think you'll join the rest of England, Wales, up into eastern Scotland, a dry day with some sunshine, although I think the sunshine may be rather hazy at times on the western side of England, up in central parts of Scotland too. But with the sunshine, a warmer day than today, up to 20 centigrade, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. It'll still be on the cool side though, I think in western Scotland and Northern Ireland. You might get a little bit of sunshine, but a fair amount of cloud, and there will be a little bit of rain from time to time. Well, let's go back to the Atlantic chart now and see what's going to happen over the next few days, because as I said earlier, the weather is going to change, and everything hinges on this low pressure area here. That's going to deepen and rush its way in towards the country, and it will be bringing rain, I think, to western parts during Thursday. By that time, in central and eastern parts, still warm with a good deal of sunshine, still some quite strong southerly winds, but on Friday, as that front edges across, some heavy rain on the eastern side. Well, that's it from me. A very good night to you.
Yes, that's been a good day. I've been working long horses all my life.
As someone close to you gets older, you don't always notice the changes. They seem as strong and capable as they ever were. You never doubt they can look after themselves.
Still, this year we took first prize.
Night, Dad.
Good night. Yeah, that's been a good day.
You never doubt they can look after themselves. But the time will come when you must.
That was a public information film. So now we've come to the end of this Tuesday night on BBC One, with the time just coming up to 7 minutes to midnight. We'll be back at 6:30 for breakfast time, but in the meantime, if you're a night bird, you'll always find Radio 2 on the air throughout the night. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, and from all of us here, a very good night. Good night.